All right, D, why don't you just start us off with how pro day went for you and the excitement you have ahead of you for your future.
What was the last part you said? I couldn't hear you.
The excitement you have ahead for your future.
Gotcha. Yeah, pro day went well today. I definitely feel like there's a lot of work and time put into it. My numbers didn't quite match up to what I wanted them to be at today, but overall I feel like I had a great day. Showed the things that they wanted to see for sure. And yeah, I just attacked it, so I'm coming out very proud of myself, but there's still more work to be done, so it's just a steady grind, really.
All right, we'll open it up for questions for D. Please use the raise hand function. John Scott, go ahead.
Hey, John Scott from Spectrum News here in Buffalo. Certainly playing in the MAC, you don't necessarily get the same notoriety as a lot of these other guys in the draft. Does that kind of give you a chip? How do you go about attacking this and trying to go to the next level, understanding that you haven't been on the stage a lot of these guys have?
Yeah, I wouldn't want it any other way, really, because I just feel like a ticking time bomb when it comes to just like the Senior Bowl. I exploded. People started to know more of who I am and what I do on the field, so I always like it, people pushing me off until it's time to play football at the end of the day. Competitors compete, and that's who I am. So, I always like being overshadowed.
And just a real quick follow, what were you hoping to do today that you said you didn't hit some of those marks?
Yeah, I wanted to run a 4.29 today, for sure. The weather, it wasn't terrible. I don't know what it was. It's a little bit cooler, so I guess it just wasn't my day for the 4.29. But yeah, I still feel like I'm a 4.29 guy for sure.
Appreciate it.
Next, Brandon Carlisle. Go ahead, Brandon.
I can hear you.
None of us can. Brandon, why don't you figure out your audio issues? We'll get back to you. Alex Corza, Steelers Depot, you're next.
Hey, Dwayne, two quick questions. A, have you met with the Steelers, had any contact with them? And I know you played cornerback and then kind of moved to receiver. How what you learned at cornerback and, your reads and stuff like that helped you strengthen yourself at the receiver position?
Yeah. I have a Steelers interview set up. I believe is next Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. But really, yeah, cornerback, it helped me more so with receiver than it did at corner. Just realizing some of the vulnerabilities when it comes to DB, because the receivers always have the advantage, because we know as a DB, I never knew what a receiver was doing. I studied up on tendencies and all that, but just me being able to attack blind spots, being able to know kind of how to get open under pressure. It just helped tally up me becoming a full all around wide receiver.
If I could just follow up really briefly, who are you meeting with Pittsburgh next week? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I think it'll be a full formal interview, because I only spoke with them at the Senior Bowl so far and a couple coaches. So it'll probably be the full formal interview.
Got it. Thank you.
Patrick from MLive.
Hey, D, thanks for taking time to talk with us today.
Yes, sir.
Can you talk about how it felt to, be able to showcase yourself in front of 29 NFL teams today?
Oh yeah, it felt great. I'm definitely blessed, and definitely grateful as well, to be in the opportunity, to have an opportunity to be able to go out there and do what I do. Because I just think back and reminisce on a time where football is taken away from me when I had my injury. So me growing through those times, just putting on my back, and now it's all coming to fruition now. I had my pro day, and it's crazy just to think about, really. So I'm just very grateful that I'm in the position that I am today.
Thank you.
Andrew Freeman.
Hey, Dwayne, appreciate your time today. So just want to get your outlook on your Senior Bowl experience and what were some of your major takeaways from there. And also, have you had any conversations or met with the Chicago Bears?
Yeah, the Senior Bowl experience, it was definitely great. It was tough when it came to mental, physically, and emotionally. So, you know, a lot of the guys, we had to adapt to that because we had no really preparation for what it was going to look like due to COVID and everything that was going to be there. You know, so that further helped me know that this is what I'm supposed to do, and this is kind of what I'm meant to do. Just because I adapted, you know, and there was no things that were too tough that I couldn't handle, you know, and I just had to do my job like I always do, you know. So I'm definitely grateful that I got the experience of Senior Bowl as well. And I have met with the Chicago Bears. I had a formal interview with them, I think 2 weeks ago. So I met with the complete staff, GMs, everything. Everybody was on there, and it went great.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Brandon, let's try you again. Still nothing. Not getting any audio from you. Gino, you're up.
How's it going, D? Thank you for taking time and hope you and your family are safe right now.
Appreciate
Gino
it.
Camilleri from Locked On Eagles podcast. One, did you meet with the Philadelphia Eagles yet in any extent? And two, when you look at your tape, your release off the line, your hand fighting and your footwork is stellar. Are there any receivers in particular in the NFL that you look up to really hone in on your craft, and who you really watch to see who you can learn from?
Yeah. I have a meeting set up with the Eagles, I believe, next week as well. I met with them at the Senior Bowl, but I have one coming up with them. And yeah, you know, like my game is overall just versatile. I'm very detailed when it comes to receiver. Our position coach last year, you know, he honed in on that stuff, and it was exactly what I wanted to do. So it worked out great. So when it comes to releases, we worked on that every day. Hands, wipers, and sheds, and all that stuff. So everything that I did was just bottled up stuff, all the work that I put in during the week of preparation and during the summers of preparation as well. So, you know, these are things that I've just always just continue to grow in. And something that I always chase, you know, to be the best in that. People that I look up to, I watch LaVisca Chenault a lot. Obviously Tyreek Hill, take some things away from him, but I like to kind of look at people that don't necessarily have the abilities that I have, like people that gotta actually get open, like Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs. He's fast and everything, but he's not super fast. But he uses his body well to get open. And then I look at DeAndre Hopkins, you know, how he attacks the ball and how he catches the ball. So I really just looked at a magnitude of different people to where I can just apply it to my game.
Thank you.
Dan Wolkenstein.
Hey, Dwayne, Dan Wilkinson from the Brawl Network here. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing good. Excited to see you guys. This has been a great day for you. I know hands, speed, route running, kick return ability, you kind of have it all. I cover the Chargers out here in LA. So kind of a two-part question. One, what are your thoughts on the team? Have you talked to them? And then two, just kind of talk about your versatility. And I know you mentioned it before, but how do you see yourself in the NFL as primarily either a slot receiver or just a playmaker?
Yeah, I think I have a Chargers meeting being set up at the moment as well. I kind of pushed everything back this week just so I could focus in and lock in on things that I had to accomplish. So that meeting is definitely coming up. And then I feel like, you know, I bring a different type of dynamic to the league. You know, I feel like I'll be able to, where there's any lack on a team, comes to special teams, wide receiver, any position that I'm put in, you know, I feel like I can do that at a high level and, you know, just bring that back to where it needs to be, you know, because of my motor, how I play the game, you know, the emotion that I play with. And yeah, like I said, just being dynamic and being able to do multiple positions.
Thinking just a quick follow-up for folks that are worried about or talk about your height as maybe something that might be an issue in the next level. What do you say to them?
What would I say to them? Say, I don't want to answer that one.
Just tell them to turn on the tape, right?
Yeah, the turn on the tape. That's it.
Thank you so much. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Kenyon Atchison.
Hey, Dwayne, this is Keenan Atchison with Tunnel Vision Sports. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm good, man. You ran a 4.3, 4.38. I know you said you wanted to get a 4.29. You don't think that's going to hinder your draft stock or anything, do you?
No, I couldn't see it doing that, for sure. Because at the end of the day, you turn on my tape, my game speed is much faster than my actual 40 speed, and how I play the game. So it definitely won't lack. It's just more competition within myself. You know, I wanted to meet the goals that I had set forth. So it's only things within me.
Okay. And follow up, is there a particular offense that you noticed around the league that you feel like you will be such a great fit for that particular offense?
Chiefs for sure, just how they use speed. The Bears, Tampa. You know, I think it's a lot of great opportunities for me to go into with teams, all across the board, really.
All right. Well, best of luck to you, man.
I appreciate you.
Yep.
Peter Hood.
Hey, Dwayne, this is Peter Hood from Fox 55 in Fort Wayne. A pretty generic question, but just how long has being able to play in the NFL been a goal for you, been a dream for you, and just to be able to participate in this process and be able to showcase your skills in front of NFL scouts, just how much are you trying to embrace this opportunity and embrace this moment?
Yeah, I've known I wanted to play in the NFL even before I played football. Organized. I started playing in the 5th grade, but I can remember as far as back as I could, just watching football. I knew that was always going to be something that I wanted to do, you know. So I just kept my head down and actually like work for that dream, you know, just not let it be a dream. You know, it's just constant work that, you know, you just got to grow and learn from. And yeah, me being in the position that I am, you know, I'm just blessed, grateful. You know, the God set out for me to have a better life, you know, than where I come from for sure, you know, and allow me to make a difference within my communities. So, you know, I'm just grateful and glad that I'm on this trail.
And then a quick follow-up. Obviously, Northeast Indiana has a pretty rich history of producing pros. Currently, a lot of guys in the league, you know, Jalen Smith, Jesse Bates, Drew Tranquil, the list goes on. I'm curious if you've been able to connect with any of those guys through this process and maybe get any advice from any of them.
Oh, yeah. All those guys are on my Rise team. We're all signed to Rise Sports Advisors. So I was just with them last week talking about certain things. We had a business meeting. So, you know, I'm in constant contact with them.
I appreciate you, man.
Yes, I appreciate it.
Josh Burris, go ahead.
Hey, Dwayne, Josh Burris from the Bluffton News Banner. A question about this past season. You had mentioned football got taken away from you with that injury, and it nearly got taken away again when the MAC decided to cancel their season, but they ended up bringing it back for 6 games. And you just played out of your mind compared to your first 3 seasons in college football. In hindsight, looking back, how important was this season to get you here to not only the Senior Bowl, but also the NFL Combine and Pro Day?
Yeah, it was definitely important, you know, that I put what I need to put on film this year. But, you know, after the injury and after my junior year, you know, they gave me a grade from 7th round to undrafted. So either way it went, you know, I was going to get to the NFL regardless of the situation. If I got drafted, if I didn't get drafted, you know, so I always just had that in the back of my head. And I just kept on working to the main goal of just getting on the team. I don't care if I get drafted 1st, 2nd round. I was in the ballpark at 7th round to undrafted. So, you know, I'm just trying to get on the team.
Yeah, and following up, you had mentioned, you just said you don't really care where you're getting drafted, but some analysts are pretty high on you. Like Todd McShay said he wouldn't be surprised if you were a 1st-round pick. And with a loaded draft class like this, with guys like Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, Rondale Moore, the list goes on, that's some good company to be in. How's that make you feel?
It makes me feel great. You know, I don't get too much into that. You know, I just, like I said, I keep my head down and keep working towards the main goal. You know, I don't indulge myself in all the too positive stuff, you know, because I still got a job to do. You know, if he says that right now and I start listening to that and I don't do my job, all he did was just talk about me. So, you know, I'm trying to be in a position to where I just go, you know, and be able to just be on a team and go instead of just indulging into all the talk and everything. Because it's been talk my whole career, you know, I'm more about action.
Jaylon, thanks for joining us. First off, just give us your impressions on how your pro day went, and you know what's ahead for you in the future here.
Pro day went great. It was definitely a success. Gonna keep training, getting stronger, getting ready for OTAs and camp.
All right, we'll take questions for Jaylon. Please use the raise hand function. Patrick, we'll start off with you.
Hey, Jalen, thanks for taking time to talk today. Could you just talk a little bit about getting the chance to showcase yourself in front of 29 different NFL teams?
It was phenomenal. Something that I did a few weeks back in at the Senior Bowl, but definitely great being able to show my speed and explosiveness.
And how did the Senior Bowl prepare you for this stage?
I'm just getting in front of those coaches, getting my feet wet, being more comfortable in this type of environment.
Keenan, go ahead.
Hey, Jalen, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Where have you talked to any teams, like in particularly like the Detroit Lions, or how many teams have you spoken to so far?
I've spoken to quite a few.
Okay. And where do you feel as though you best fit on the O-line? Which team?
I mean, any team that takes that chance on me. First team to pull the trigger is definitely the place I want to be because they believe in me the most.
All right. Thanks, Jalen.
Thank you.
Stephen Haglund, go ahead.
Hey, Jalen, Stephen Haglund here from the LAFB Network covering the Chargers and the Rams. My first question is, have you met with either of those teams? And my second question is, what are some things that you're working on in this offseason to prepare for your first year in the NFL?
I have, and I'm just working on my versatility, my all-around game, staying quick, explosive, working on getting stronger in my lower body.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Alex Cozora, go ahead.
Hey, Jalen, Alex Cozora, Steelers Depot. I'll ask the question too. Have you met with Pittsburgh yet? And I know you replaced Chuck Wilmer-Corfor at left tackle at Western Michigan. What did he teach you to help prepare you for that starting role?
I have, and just everything that he knew. I would just be a sponge, just talking to him. I still talk to him to this day. We worked out numerous times before the previous season. So he's my dude. I talk to him whenever I need something. He's definitely willing to listen and show me the ropes.
I didn't catch it. Did you say you had met with the Steelers? You have not met with the Steelers yet.
I have.
Okay. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Andrew Freeman.
Hey, Jalen, appreciate your time today. So my name is Andrew Freeman, covering the Chicago Bears at the Bear Report. So first question is have you met with the Bears and had any contact with them in this pre-draft process? And second question, what are teams telling you, or where do you think you fit in terms of being either at tackle, left side, right side, or even kicking inside to play guard at the next level?
Okay. I haven't spoken with them, but I feel like I can fit anywhere. I see myself as a left tackle, but wherever a team needs be, I'm definitely willing to do it at a high level.
Thank you.
Oops. Mateus, go ahead.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yep, all good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Jalen, first of all, congratulations for going for the NFL draft. Here's Mateus from Time Out Brazil. You talk about a lot about like playing tackle or doing what the NFL asks for you. But how do you see yourself like on this offensive line class when you have like a lot of good guys? Where do you see yourself on this class?
Yeah, it's a really deep class. A lot of good dudes. I work with a lot of them during training. I see myself as up there with the best.
And how do you think that from today, for the day of the draft, you can you think that have something more that you can show for the teams, or it is what it is and already have your tape and your pro day and everything else?
I feel like most of the work is in the bag. My tape speaks for itself. just proving more versatility. I've been working on my snapping, so if they have the opportunity to see that, then that will help, I guess.
Thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you.
Griffin Floyd, go ahead.
Hey, Jalen. I'm here with Pittsburgh Sports Now, and you mentioned your, explosiveness and speed as one of your biggest strengths. Can you tell me how that fits into your work as a blocker? When you are in motion, how does that, impact what you do?
Just coming off the ball fast enough to meet my defender at the point of contact, pulling, reach blocks, backside cutoffs. All of those are pretty much what I do. Change the direction and pass protection, all of those things.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Coach, just give us your overall thoughts on Jaylon and D's performances today, and then, what's next in store for them?
They've been training in different places of the country, but we've been keeping in contact with them, and everything they've been doing is really started at the Senior Bowl. They both did a great job there, and they've continued to learn from the different people that they've been training with, and it's been fun. They've been both back probably about 4 or 5 days now. He's been in practice every day. We're in the middle, or we just finished spring practice, so it was fun to watch them today. They both went out there. They ran well. They moved well. They executed. Same things they did every day, so it's not a shock for the guys that get to go out there every day with them. But it was fun to watch the scouts have a chance to put them through the drills that they want to see them do. And the scouts run the drills. We just get to sit there and be and watch. And then they both did a great job. I'm happy for them.
All right, we'll take questions for Coach Lester. Please use the raise hand function. Patrick, we'll start with you.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for taking time to talk today.
Good to see you, Pat.
To start out, what did it mean for you to see two longtime contributors be able to showcase their stuff, in front of so many NFL scouts?
I mean, it means a ton for our program and really the development, of what you aim to do for every student athlete that comes into your program. I tell people all the time in recruiting, I know a lot of coaches preach recruiting is the number one thing we do. And I think developing is the number one thing we do. Now recruiting's number two, don't get me wrong, but making sure we're putting them in the best position to continue to become better players, and put them in a position to succeed on a day like today, to have pretty much our whole team in the stands watching, and seeing what the end of the road could be, the first thing you're going to do is get your education, but we're also going to put you in a position with our coaches and our trainers and our strength staff that you're going to be prepared when this day comes, and the guys went out there and did that, which was it's a great day for obviously for D and Jalen and for everyone, but it's a great day for our program, and I'm proud of them, and I'm excited for the next step for them, which is pretty much they get to do a lot of Zoom interviews now and wait for the draft, and we're excited for that day too.
And then with D and his knack for big plays, it's pretty obvious what he can bring to an NFL team. Jalen, maybe it takes a little bit more of the trained eye. What do you see him? How do you see him carving out a role at the next level?
The thing that I think is going to make Jalen so intriguing for a lot of teams is his versatility. I mean, he has shown the size and the movement skills to be a left tackle. But he's also, his movement skills are good enough and his pad level is good enough he could play inside. I saw him snapping today for the first time, but just in case. He's definitely smart enough to do that if he had to. So, when NFL teams have, 8 offensive linemen active on a roster, I mean, versatility is key in the NFL. And he is a guy that somebody could put, and I think he's going to win a starting job at some point in his career, but he'll always have the ability to play multiple positions, which that flexibility at the level, I mean, we have 15 O-linemen on scholarship. So we roll into a game with at least 12 dressed, and where they roll in the NFL with 8. So it's such an important thing that they're looking for. And it's something I heard from a lot of the scouts, and it's something he was able to show today. And I know it, even I heard at the Senior Bowl, they were playing him at some guard. I don't think he'd really ever played guard, but he does have the tools to play guard. And he'll really be able to help a team because of all the things he can do.
Final one for me. Were there any times or measurements that surprised you from either D or Jaylon?
Not really, they've been, my biggest thing is I want them to stay healthy. They both went away. They really haven't been under our umbrella for like the last 2 months, 2.5 months. And sometimes when you go train, you just hope that they don't develop hamstring or shoulder. We've had some of those in the past, and they were both healthy and they looked healthy and strong, and they ran and they did, going through their position drills, they look great. And I always stand next to one of the more veteran scouts I can find, so I can ask their opinion of how they're doing, and that's why I was so excited today, because all of them have been, they're going from pro day to pro day to pro day to pro day to pro day. So they do a really good job of comparing and contrasting. And from what I heard unanimously was that they looked really good when you compare them to the people that they're competing against, come draft day. So I'm excited for those guys and excited for what today's going to mean for their future.
Mateus, go ahead.
Thank you. Coach Tim, here's Mateus from Timeout, Brazil. Last year, the players doesn't have the chance of having the pro day, so it was a real bummer for a lot of guys. But I bet it was already for the coach too. So how was like for you and for the coaching staff having the chances of having the pro day, putting the guys on for running and do all the exercise?
I mean, it was huge. I mean, you don't really, you don't miss it till it's gone type mentality. And, for those guys last year, now we had, was it 6 total guys? We had 4 guys that worked out today that did a great job that missed their pro day last year, that, normally we don't have, guys that have been away from the program work out, but I really wanted those guys to have their opportunity to run and to work out. So we were trying to kind of make it up a little bit today by letting more than just Jaylon and D go through drills. And I think they all did a good job. But it is such a celebration. I mean, even when you're recruiting a young man out of high school, they all have dreams of playing in the NFL, and it's fun to watch it come to fruition for guys. And pro day is kind of the culmination, at least on this campus. It's the culmination of all the work they've put in. So to have those guys miss it was difficult. Some of them still stayed around and stayed in shape, so they got to do it again this year, which I was proud of those guys. But it was hard to not have one, and we're excited that we're kind of back on track a little bit, and everyone got to see those guys do their thing.
And just a quick follow-up. You're talking about that, and with the COVID, we want it or not, it's a closed event. So we don't have the combine or all the TVs and all the cameras for the guys. But you think it's kind of maybe better for these guys, like having the full attention of the scouts, like they're only gonna give attention for that 2 guys or that 4 guys, that 6 guys. You think that maybe helped them a little bit on this draft process?
It's a good question. Yeah, I think it definitely put a lot more onus on pro day at the college campuses without the combine. It gives everybody a really it's the NFL team's one chance to get out live and watch these athletes move around. So I do think without having an NFL combine, that each and every one of these pro days that's happening there's more importance. I guarantee if you talk to NFL people, they would have to say that the importance of pro day this year is probably enhanced from years in the past. Because, some guys would have been invited to the combine, some guys wouldn't, but either way, you got to get your people there to make sure that you see the things you need to see before we get to draft day. So I would agree with that these pro days are, this year in particular, are probably more important than ever before.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Thank you again for taking my question.
I appreciate it.
Keenan, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Lester, how you doing today?
I'm good, Keenan. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. What would you say is Jalen's and Dwayne's best attributes and characteristics that they will carry over into the next level?
Okay, I'll start with Jalen. The thing about Jalen is, and you probably noticed this from his interview, he is one of the most steady Eddie people I've ever been around. Same day, same guy every day, constantly. You know, you never have to worry about is he not going to show up? Is he not going to be ready to play? I mean, a guy that you can trust. You know, a leader by example. You know, he got voted a captain, and I tried to get him to say a couple things, and he's not a big speaker. The moment he speaks, everyone gets quiet and listens because they respect him so much. But I just think his consistency in his play over 4 years and the people we went up against and his versatility, I think those carry over really well for him. And I think with D, obviously, you know, speed is everything. You know, and the ability, we've had fast guys that haven't had the ability to make plays. And when it comes to explosive plays, you know, you look at the NFL and you look at what makes difference in winning and losing games, explosive plays matters. And it matters in college football too. But at the next level, you know, D's ability to take, obviously he has the ability to run by you, but he has the ability to take a ball that's caught underneath you and turn it into a big play. And that's a special skill. You know, his ability to go and change speeds as he's running to run his routes. He ran great routes today, great break points. And so I think that when it comes to NFL teams looking at dynamic offensive players, they want the ability to go to the house. And he is a guy from in front of the defense and being able to get behind the defense. He's done both and he's shown it. And that definitely translates into the NFL game.
All right. And a quick follow-up. When did you know, or, you know, if it was a particular game or practice or whatnot, when did you know, hey, these guys are ready to go to the NFL?
Okay, that's an easy one. With Jaylon, it was about 2 years ago. You know, the one thing I was talking to some NFL scouts about today is that there's a lot of really big athletes that are physical and show the ability to play in the box really well. But the NFL is such a fast game. And we ran pin and pull, which we're not a big pin and pull team, but we always have it in. And there was one time in practice, we ran pin and pull to the left. And it was the first time I saw Jalen pull and get out on the edge and lead block for a running back against safeties and corners. And that's really when you learn if they have the ability to take the next step and play in the NFL, because it's not a box game. It's way too fast. You got to be able to play in space. And that moment in that practice, when I watched him get out in front of the running back, and the running back didn't pass him for 15, 20 yards because he was moving, slowed down to block the safety. But that was the moment that I knew he had the athleticism. I always knew he was huge. He had the size. But that was the moment with him. And with D, it was always interesting. I knew he had the speed, but when we went that one spring that we moved him to corner, and then we went to his 2 years ago, and we were going to have him be a two-way player. And so we were in the middle of training camp, and we're doing one-on-ones, and he was our best corner and covering, and we flipped him back to offense. He hadn't really run around on offense for probably spring ball, so probably like 8 months. And he ran one of the prettiest slant and go routes that I've ever seen. He had patience off the ball, turned his shoulders, got the corner to commit, and ran to the back corner of the end zone. It was one of the prettiest routes I've ever seen. And at that moment, you know, because that was the big thing for him, was just he was always fast, and it was controlling that speed that was going to be the key. Because there's a lot of fast guys that they just do everything fast, and they're a little bit out of control. And once you learn the pace of routes and how to accelerate and decelerate, and once he went to defense, there was a light bulb that went off. And I was so excited to use him 2 years ago as a two-way player. And then he got hurt, and we focused this year on just offense. I was really hoping everyone got a chance to see him run routes, because with his change of speed and his ability to catch balls, I mean, it was pretty, and we knew it was pretty, and it hadn't really all come together until about 2 years ago. and then he got hurt. And the fact that he had 6 games to show everybody that he's not just a post guy or a slant guy. He can run stop routes, comebacks, digs, clants, you name it. But it was that route. It was the first time I really saw him use his speed and control it and be patient with it and let it out when it needs to be let out. And when he controls that speed, he's almost uncoverable. And so that was about 2 years ago. And I was just happy that he got these 6 games to show everybody that we've kind of known for 2 years that he had mastered his craft finally. He'd always been working on it, but he'd finally seen the light. And man, it showed last fall, that's for sure.